Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX and I'm Medha Sharan. Now, gold prices have extended losses for the third consecutive week against a strong US dollar. November 9 sees a 4 rupee decline in prices with 12,217 per gram for 24 karat gold, while yesterday's rate at 12,201. The same although for 22K is at 11,200 after yesterday's rate at 11,184 per gram, marking a significant 16 rupees shift. The sustained firmness in the dollar and a wait and watch approach from the US Federal Reserve have dampened demand for the safe haven asset, keeping bullion prices in a narrow trading range. Through the holiday shortened week, they added. Analysts say that the metal started the week firm, briefly trading above the USD $4,000 mark before a strong dollar dragged prices lower. Renewed risk aversion in the midweek provided limited support, helping gold trim its losses. Now let us go on and compare the prices of gold from today versus last week, last month and last year as well. Now if you see on your screens, the prices of 1 gram of 24 karat gold today stands at 12,217 rupees, while yesterday it stood at 12,201 rupees, which is an increase of 16 rupees. Now comparing the prices of 22 karat gold, we can see that the prices yesterday stood at 11,184 rupees. Meanwhile, today it stands at 11,200 rupees. Now, in comparison, 1 gram of 18 karat gold today stands at 9,167 rupees. Meanwhile, yesterday it stood at 9,151 rupees. So we can see an increase in prices rather. And also comparing the prices from last week the prices of the metal stood at 12,315 in the 24 karat gold category. Meanwhile, today it stands at 12,217 rupees, which is a decline in the prices in comparison from last week. Now we can see that the prices have decreased 90 rupees in comparison to last week when we're talking about 1 grams of 22 karat gold. So last week the price stood at 11,290 rupees. Meanwhile, today it stands at 11,200 rupees. Now in the 18 karat gold, we can see that the price stands at 9,167 rupees for 1 gram of 18 karat gold. Meanwhile, last week it stood at 9,240 rupees. So we can see a decline in prices. Now in comparison to last month, we can see that there has been a decrease in about 200 rupees roughly in comparison to last month. So today the prices stand at 12,217. Meanwhile, last month it stood at 12,430 rupees. Now the 22 karat gold, this today stands at 11,200 rupees. Meanwhile, last month on the very same date, it stood at 11,395 rupees. We're also seeing that 18 karat gold stands at 9,167 rupees today. Meanwhile, last month it stood at 9,326 rupees. So we can see a decline in prices in comparison to last month. Now if we talk about gold prices from today versus last year for the same time period, last year the prices stood at 7,951 and today they stand at 12,217, which is a significant gain in prices in comparison to last year. Meanwhile, 22 karat gold stands at 11,200 rupees today. Last year on the same date they stood at 9,270. So we can again see a significant increase in prices this month. Also, 18 karat gold stands at 9,167 rupees today. Meanwhile, last year it stood at 5,965 rupees, which is a gain of roughly about 4,000 rupees. Now, gold has seen a record rally this year with it touching about $4,300 in October this very month. In comparison to October 2022, the gold prices have increased by about 170%, which is a record gain. Now I'm joined by Dr. Sharath Kohli, who is a senior economist on the broadcast. Dr. Kohli, I would like to start with the basics. We are seeing a decrease in prices. What could be the factors behind that?
Good morning to the viewers of NewsX. At the outset, I must place on record my appreciation for NewsX for tracking these prices so minutely and giving appropriate comparisons for the investors, holders of gold, traders of gold. I'm sure this is extremely useful. Well, the recent fall which you've seen from a peak of $4,381, for the benefit of NewsX viewers, as I keep reiterating that I track it in dollars because that's where the price emanates from in the New York COMEX, and the rest of the world opens the prices and follows the prices from there. So I would prefer to do that. That also gives a unified price instead of tracking caratage or tracking across different platforms in India, which is NewsX, the Bullion market, spot gold, and so on and so forth. So from the peak of $4,381, it is consolidated to around $4,000. It went down to $3,900, but recovered from there, which is very healthy because no asset class, Medha, can only be driving in one direction. It becomes a bubble. It becomes dangerous for investors, and people can get carried away and burn their fingers. So it's a very healthy consolidation now, around $4,000. It went up from $3,900 to $4,000. It's been hanging up there. It's been stabilizing there. It's been holding that price, which is very good. But the undertone of gold and silver as of now still remains bullish because there are a lot of factors. Why it cooled down was because the US-China quick fix kind of a trade deal happened where China relaxed export of rare earth minerals, and US in turn cut down a little bit of tariffs. I don't see it as a landmark deal, but a kind of a quick fix solution. So the speculators who were anticipating more geo-economic uncertainty had to probably pull back, and we saw some cooling down of the prices. But the way things stand today, Medha, that's very important. US shutdown has entered into its 39th or 40th day, which is a record in itself. Never before has there been such a long shutdown. Besides that, the U.S. economy is facing a heavy debt of about $38 to $39 trillion as of now, which is not very healthy. There are job cuts in the U.S. as well. The tech bubble is bursting. Geopolitical tensions, made a very important factor, are also aggravating. Russia-Ukraine war seems to be aggravating. Nuclear testing is being spoken of more openly now, with the U.S. not going to attend the G20 summit. None of its officials are going to attend the G20 summit. I think all these factors are indicating that geopolitical tensions are gradually, they are simmering, I would say. They are gradually building up. Therefore, all these factors are very congenial to the growth of precious metal prices, fortunately or unfortunately. So I think the long-term trend for gold and silver is still bullish. Investors who still want to stay investors, I think they can keep accumulating in smaller proportions. They must consult their financial advisors, investment advisors. What we are doing here is a news analysis to what are the factors which contribute to rise or fall of gold prices. So people can accumulate in smaller prices. Any average investor must have at least 20% precious metal holdings in his portfolio, which is going to probably yield good in the times to come. So overall, the undertone is still very much bullish. These corrections are intermittent. These corrections are healthy. These corrections are consolidatory in nature. And I don't think people who are very good investors, who are die-hard investors in precious metals, should be worried about these corrections, especially if you're a long-term investor, Medha.
Thank you, Dr. Kohli, for sharing your perspective with us. I appreciate you sharing your time.